Hey, everybody, this is Scott Golden. I am being joined today on this live interview by none other than up-and-coming rising star, Anna Bright. Anna, what's going on today?
Hey, Scott, I'm doing great. How are you? So glad to be here.
Yeah, so I mean, you are a normal human being. You work a job. You have per se 9 to 5 hours. Is that right?
I'm lucky I'm like 9 to 4, 4:30, which
There
is
we
a little
go.
more
So that
pickleball
plenty of
time.
time for pickleball.
Plenty of time for pickleball. There could
You
always
can
be
still
more,
make the
but
afternoon sessions.
yes. I'm not doing
So
two a
so let's
days, but I'm doing one a day.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I remember we talked recently, and you said something like, um, "I can do the interview, but I definitely don't want to like miss my afternoon session or something. So like plan around that or something like that. Like, you want to
Right.
make sure you got your pickleball."
No, I have to. I went to play yesterday, which was probably a mistake. I went and I played like 3 rec games, and I was like, I'm done. I'm so tired. But I still wanted to play.
I can't believe you even thought about playing at that point. That's ridiculous. As many games as you played over the weekend, that's insane.
I didn't just think about playing. I drove to Davie, which is like 45 minutes away, and I played 3 games, and I lost the last one, and I was like, I think I'm done. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm out. I'm out. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about that. Let's start with the basics, though. Let's start with this. How old is Anna Bright? How old are you?
Anna Bright is 22 years old. I'm
22
22.
years old. So you're on the, I would say, the young side of pickleball. Um, we're going to get into your partners as well, because your partners have a little bit even more of a young edge on you than yourself. But I would say 22 is pretty young. And then your pickleball career is also pretty young. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, my pickleball career is still measured in months. I started playing, like I started getting into it on October 23rd. I know the day. I had played a few times, like a handful of times while I was in college, just with my family. Um, but October 23rd, I picked up a paddle at the park by my house, and that's when it all began. The next day, I went and I bought a legit paddle, and then I was going to plantation, and that's how it all started for me.
So, but let's be clear for the viewers watching. I started October 23rd of 2016. So you're
No
speaking about
way!
2021, right? Well, not that
Yeah.
exact date, but sometime in the
Oh,
fall
okay.
of 2016. So you're talking about 2021, correct?
Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to be clear on that because I started 5 years ago, and so this is. I didn't tell you I was going to bring this up, but you're going to remember this very vividly, and we're going to talk about it. You played in a small tournament against me in a 4.5 mixed gold. You were what, 3 4 weeks into playing? Maybe I
Oh,
don't
no, no,
remember.
no. I think that tournament happened like November 1st or around November 7th. I think I was about 2 weeks. I was
Two
about
weeks into playing.
Yeah, I think I was a little over 2 weeks at that point. And
So
I
for
had never
everybody
seen
watching,
anything like Scott Golden. I was like, "What is this man doing right now?" He like if anyone's seen how he gets, so he's like, "Duh, duh," like it's like this guy's got tentacles for arms, and he was earning, and I was so frazzled.
that's
He was
the
a little
part
too
that I
good that day.
remember the most. I remember the earnings that you kept hitting down the line on me, and I kept earning you, and you kept saying out loud, "Why are you earning? Why are you earning me over and over? Why am I hitting down the line over and
I
over?" Like,
I just didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do out there.
I feel like I was part of your success because I taught you early on that you just can't go down the line on high level players. It doesn't work.
Oh, I don't know about high level players. Just kidding, just kidding, just
Ah,
kidding. Um,
I
but
love it. Well, wait, but who won that gold? I think it was me. I think I won that gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
no.
No, no, no. You want it. You want it.
It would. Who cares if it was two
You
weeks
and
in?
Karina got me. It was pretty handy. It was like 15-7 or something. Like
Who
it
cares if
was
you'd only been
discount.
playing 2 weeks? I don't
No.
care.
No, a win's a win. A win is a win. You got to
When
take
I
it.
found out it was 2 weeks, though, Anna, I almost threw up. I was like, "What? I barely beat her."
Not barely, but but thank you.
But you've gone uphill since then. You've gone up straight up to the pro level. So let's before we get into your actual pickleball journey, I want you to tell people how you got to pickleball. So like, what was your journey leading up to that? You obviously come from tennis. Is that fair to say? So start there. Start with your background growing up and how you got into sports and all that.
Okay, so is my dad was a college tennis player at a small school in Tennessee, and I am the oldest. I have two little sisters, and so I was destined to be a tennis player. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have photos of myself being like 2 or 3 years old with like a racket in my hand and stuff. It was always going to happen. It was just in the cards. So I started playing really young, and I grew up in Texas till I was about 12. Then been in Florida since. So I was a really, really good junior tennis player, and then got recruited for college, and so I played at Cal, which a lot of people now know. Um, Played tennis at Cal, had a really, really good career there. My style in tennis is a little different from the style you guys see me playing pickleball. In pickleball, I just rip everything. I know I'll never be the best dinker, but I'm gonna hit hard. Whereas in tennis, I was a pretty patient and like smart player. Was pretty good at the bottom half of a college lineup. Um, and then so come May, I was done with college tennis, and I only got back home to Florida mid-September because after college, I wanted to do something kind of crazy. And
Tell us about that.
if anybody's heard of the Appalachian Trail, that one is more popular. On the West Coast, there's something called the Pacific Crest Trail, which is a hiking and backpacking trail that goes from Mexico to Canada. It's 2,650 miles. And I spent a few months doing that. So that's what I did from about mid-May to mid-September. I was just walking. I was walking for a long time. And then I got home mid-September,
Actually,
got into pickleball
go ahead.
mid-October.
Very cool. So I actually did a little homework on you just to try to catch up to speed on everything. And I looked at your Instagram, which is Anna Not So Bright, which I think is a very clever name on there. But if you guys go on there and follow her, you'll see her journey through the trail that she's talking about. How long did that take you?
It took 113 days, I think. And
And
Anna
you
Not
mapped
So
it all
Bright,
out.
you guys gotta hit me up. You guys gotta become my friend to get on Anna Not So. But I'll start putting some more content on my pickleball account. But yeah, 113 days. We took like 13 showers in that time. It was a pretty gnarly experience.
That's gnarly. And I remember you one of the videos you guys there were some big fires at that time, right? There were some big.
Yes. Yeah, so this was a really bad year for fires, and at one point, we were just past Truckee. We were in Northern California. Truckee's near South Lake Tahoe, and we were just a couple miles from like a fire that just lit up that day. So that was a really, really scary experience. I could talk about the trail for a long time, but yeah, it's a crazy thing I did, and it kind of feels like a different person did that. Even it doesn't even feel like I did it. That's what my tattoo is. Anyone who saw the little tree on my leg, a lot of people ask me if it's an arrowhead. It's a tree, which is the symbol of the trail. And the
That's
other people in
awesome.
my
Yeah,
group
I
have the
remember
same tattoo.
for sure. Yeah, I asked you about that when I met you. I said, "Hey, what's that? What's somebody called me there?" So, but that experience, just that rugged type of experience, is that kind of a foreshadowing of your mental toughness and your capacity to do well in sports? I mean, would you credit that mentality, that toughness, with your ability to have success in sports, say tennis or pickleball?
Yeah, I would say it's everything, especially in junior tennis. It's unfortunate, but you really just can't. Uh, can I'm unmuted. Okay. But especially in junior tennis, you really just can't succeed, unfortunately, no matter how talented you are, if you're not really tough mentally, because in junior tennis, it's not like in pickleball. Okay.
Okay,
I
no,
don't
you're
know what
good
I've
now.
said,
Go
what I
ahead.
haven't. But you have to be tough in tennis because there's a lot of
Well,
cheating.
I
There aren't refs, and so you have to be really competitive. And tennis, you're the only person out there. In pickleball, you're usually the only one out there, but you can still get coached on your timeouts. But in tennis, it's really just you that you have to rely on and count on, and bad things are going to happen. So I'm lucky that I've always been really tough, really a competitor, and that I've just loved competing, which I think you guys saw this weekend. I have fun out there too.
Yeah. So, would you say that your extensive background in tennis has helped you translate over to pickleball very quickly? I think a lot of debate goes on about who makes the best pickleball players at the top level. and I don't think there's any argument that tennis players translate very well. Would you agree?
I would agree. I think tennis is, I've met a lot of good pickleball players who come from racquetball, but I feel like tennis is just, I feel like tennis, it just has, pickleball is essentially played on a mini tennis court. I think tennis is probably the best background. And that's definitely, the only reason that I've gotten as good as I have in so short a time is all the 20 years of tennis.
For sure. So my question to you now is, people want to know this. I mean, you work a job, you're 22 years old, you have a life. But are you taking pickleball serious now? Like, is this something where you feel, are you starting to train? Are you looking to maybe make a career change? I think people want to know what your mindset is. Do you see a future with pickleball?
Oh my goodness. I would love to know too. Like, I have always made a lot of jokes about myself in pickleball. It's like this thing I do. I kind of joke about it to my friends, but obviously I am really serious about it and I love it. I play all the time. Um, but after this weekend, I've just been inundated with messages and people wanting to talk to me and all this stuff. And it's just like, wow, like my life has really changed in just the last 3 days. I don't feel like there's never been a time in my life where it's like, I've had a pretty short life. I'm not trying to say like I'm so experienced or whatever, but it's just like in the flip, like just in a day, it's like everything changed. And so, yeah, I only started working early January and now I was actually supposed to have a conversation with my boss at 11, a check-in. And I was going to be like, I know I just started working, but can I work less and, have like a lot more flexibility on Fridays and on some Thursdays. But unfortunately, last minute, he couldn't make it. So I think I'll have a little more time to think about that conversation. But that is a conversation I'm going to have because I do like having a job. I don't want pickleball to be my entire life because I think that just knowing myself, I might burn out. And I think that would be like the saddest thing would be to get burnt out if pickleball was everything for me. So I love it. I love practicing. I love playing. And I do want to take it seriously. And I do want to be able to play a lot more tournaments, but that's going to require, a change in my work situation, which hopefully I think it'll be okay. I did send my boss an article about me and he responded very positively. So everyone have your fingers crossed for me.
Yeah, and there's several stories in pickleball where people graduated from college, got a degree, went to work, and then found themselves getting more and more immersed into the sport. Out, for example, Zane Navratil, Cassandra Gerke, Scott Golden. I used to be in landscaping for a long time, and I realized that I wanted to be a part of pickleball and the fabric of pickleball in so many different ways. And I have not looked back since 2018 when I quit my job. I've been super excited about the growth, and it's players like you that get me really excited to see the future. And it's why I wanted to get into commentary. It's why I wanted to get into teaching, because I know that as 22-year-olds and also 15 and 16-year-olds and even younger start to enter into this sport, we're going to see the game change drastically. And that's where we're going to transition into this weekend. Let's start with the least accomplished of your weekend, which was the mixed doubles, which was still a good weekend, but you didn't come out with a medal. But let's start there. You teamed up with 15-year-old phenom Gabriel Tardio, who's was the number one tennis youth in the youth division. He was like the number one Bolivian player in the world, or in his country, I'm sorry. But talk about that experience with him real quick.
Gabe is just a doll. Firstly, he is 16. I want to give him his credit. He is 16. I was so excited to play with Gabe. Gabe and Georgia played together a lot, and so I think this was my second tournament that I played with Gabe, and I was really excited to play with Gabe and Georgia because in the Boca APP, I just got like destroyed by Gabe and Georgia in the gold medal match. So obviously they're both so incredibly talented and they're both so good, especially, considering how old they are. And they're just such amazing people. So with Gabe, I knew that, we probably weren't going to take the title. We probably weren't going to medal just because, you have women in the draw who I know are much better at dinking with their forehand than I am. And just Gabe is so young, you have names like Kyle Yates, Dekel Bar, JW. I just knew that, we probably weren't going to go all the way, but I was so excited to play with him and just to see how well we could do. And our first match we started a little bit slow, but then we were so fired up to play J-Dub in Georgia because we practice with them all the time. And in practice, of course, they do usually beat us, but every now and then we can squeak out a win. And we were excited to be playing people we knew rather than like Deckel and Vivian or someone, because I personally was like scared. I was like, I don't want to play against Deckel Bar. I was like, I've seen so many highlights of this guy Ernieing. I was like, he's just gonna dice me up. At least I know that J Dub is not gonna Ernie and he's gonna flick backhands at me. Even if I can't handle it, at least I know it's coming. So we were pretty excited with our draw, and we took the first game off of them, which was great. But then after, they just kind of flipped a switch and they beat us pretty routinely. But we were still happy with how we played, and it felt smooth. And then we had a few really good wins in the back draw, beating Martina Coakley and Travis Rettenmeyer, Travis had an incredible tournament, and then also Rafa Hewitt and Rachel Retker. So those were some really solid wins that, built for us a lot of confidence. And we were so excited to play Michelle and Kyle. We were so excited about that. And, we got kind of off to like a bit of a slow start. I didn't feel like we were playing bad. I just felt like we had no rhythm. It was just weird. But then we, to just chip away at the lead. We had a great crowd and it was so fun to play. And we just felt like we were right there with them, which was a huge confidence boost. So, if you have to lose, if you have to go out and not, win the tournament, like that was, or medal, that would be the way to do it. I was really happy with that performance. And Gabe and his dad are just so amazing, such fun people to talk to and be around. So the mixed day was a total success. I was so happy after the mixed day.
Very cool. Very cool. And then let's roll into, I believe, Saturday, right? Was it Saturday? Or no, Saturday was the women's doubles, correct?
Right.
Okay. So you teamed up with 15-year-old Georgia Johnson, right? I'm getting that correct? Georgia's 15?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. So have you and Georgia played together before?
No, never in a tournament. I've only played like 4 or 5 tournaments, but we'd never played in a tournament. And so the partnership with Georgia. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, you're fine.
Too excited.
You're fine.
All right, you talk, Scott.
No, I'm just asking a question. I mean, going into that day, did you guys have any expectations? Did you talk about any type of game plan through the day, or did you guys just go into that like kind of relaxed and saying, "Hey, we have nothing to lose. Let's just go out there and have fun"? I mean, what was the talk before the tournament?
So Georgia and I, a few days before the event, we were practicing with Johnny Goldberg and Gabe, and we were playing really well together that day, and we looked up all the teams in the women's draw, and I know some names. I don't really know anyone or their game style. And Georgia was like going through everyone. She was like, we could beat this team. We could beat this team if we're hot. We could beat this team. And then she was like, Anna, like we could medal. And I was like, we could medal? I was like, we could medal? What? So that was kind of crazy. And then so that kind of set a bit of an expectation, like, oh, like, let's shoot for at least a bronze. Like it could happen. And then after the mixed day, I had a little more confidence, because I had played against some really good women, including Michelle, and I didn't feel like I was outclassed. I felt like they had a lot more experience than me, but I didn't feel like I couldn't hang with them in a hands battle or something. So that gave me a little more confidence because I really didn't know how I was going to stack up relative to this field. But then that night, actually, Georgia called me, Friday night, and we went through. She wanted to talk about every player in the women's draw, and told me a little bit about their game, what we should do against this team or that team. So I think that really set the tone that we're not just going in with nothing to lose. It's like we expect to do well, and we can beat these teams. We have a plan, and just the fact that she wanted to take the time after a long day, especially her getting bronze. She played a lot more matches than me. She wanted to call me. She wanted to spend a half hour discussing everything, what we should do, and to really just help me get in the right frame of mind about like this person has this weakness, this person has this strength. So we went in there hungry. We really went into the Women's Day hungry. I absolutely did not expect to win. To be frank, I was really wanting to medal, but we definitely went in there hungry, and that was our mentality, and obviously it was the right one.
So for anybody that didn't get to watch your journey on Saturday, who put you down into the losers bracket? Because you guys were not the undefeated team. So at what point did you run up against a team that was able to take you down? And what part of the draw was that?
So it was in our third match, which was the winners bracket semifinal. We played Vivian David and Lee Whitwell, obviously, an incredible team and just such amazing women. Like I just look up to them so much. They were just so nice in every way. So we played against them, and it was kind of a weird match because we weren't playing at our top level, but we were really, really fighting. And I think that's what kept us in it. We weren't playing our best, and they were playing really smart. They were trying to keep the ball slow. They were resetting a lot. But we weren't playing our best, but the energy was there, like the fight was there. So that still felt really good. And, after the match, we were like a little down, but I told Georgia, I was like, dude, we just lost 11-6, 11-8, and we didn't even play well. Like we just have to fight our way back and we can beat them. So even though we lost, we didn't feel defeated. Like that hunger was still 100% there. And I knew that, the teams in the losers bracket, we were probably going to play Maggie and Michelle again, who we had already beaten. So I knew that we could absolutely still get that bronze medal, which is what I wanted. I wanted to medal. That's what I wanted. And then we ended up doing better than that, obviously. But even though we lost, we were not discouraged at all. Like I think, with tennis, I've lost tons of matches in my life. Losing is nothing new to me. So I love the format of pickle, that even though you lose, you can still win, which is something that I love about it. And that just, it keeps that intensity there always. You can always win. You can always come back and win the tournament.
Absolutely. I know you don't know a lot of the names, but you do know the big names in the sport. I'm sure it doesn't take long to figure out which ones are the top names. When you come up against a Michelle Esquivel, Maggie Raminzi, a Lee Whitwell, a Vivian David, or Simone Jargim, Corinne Carr, any of these names that I could rattle off. First question would be like, do you try not to think about who that is as the opponent and you just go out there and play your best? Or do you let those nerves get to you sometimes? Or I guess what I'm saying is, for somebody watching that wonders, how does somebody like Anna Bright, who's so new to the sport, beat some of these big names that have been around forever? What's the key to success for you with that type of situation?
It's kind of a strange question for me because to me it's not like that big of a deal who someone is. Of course I respect these people so much. I respect their games, I respect their level, but I just have a level of confidence in my ability, and I don't feel like intimidated. So, I mean, I guess if I don't know, I just don't feel that intimidated. I just feel like I'm going to play my best. If I play my best, I can, who knows what can happen, because I mean, nobody out here is God. Everybody is beatable, maybe not today, maybe not on this day, but nobody is like incapable of making a mistake or something, or having like a horrible day. Anything can happen on any given day. And I think that's the great thing about sports, especially, individual sports or something like doubles, where it's like, if you play your best and someone plays their worst, if you play your very best, someone plays their absolute worst, anything could happen. And so I think that just comes from tennis and my tennis background. I competed I was a very, very, very good tennis player. And so I've competed a lot, and I just have that competitive mindset. And I know that just a level of confidence in myself. I see James as being a bit ridiculous, but yeah, I didn't feel that intimidated, especially with how well we were playing.
Ridiculous.
James is ridiculous. He is. Nobody knows
James is absolutely the definition of ridiculous. But you gotta love James Ignatowicz. He's a D1 tennis player at Vanderbilt, loves pickleball now, comes back to Southwest Florida and tries to beat up on Anna Bright on pickleball singles, skinny singles, but cannot do so on a regular basis. He does get some wins, but I think she lets him keep his ego from getting bruised. I know, I'm just kidding. She lets him win so his ego doesn't get bruised.
Hey, James, what have you done? We both started October 23rd. What do you have to say for yourself?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, James is the master of trash talking too. So Anna's giving him a little dose of his medicine there. But no, I mean, the reason I asked that question to you, Anna, is because I think so many times people go into a match and they're intimidated by the person across the net. and they think going in, well, I'm not good enough to beat them, or that person has had so much success, or my skills don't match up well with them, or whatever excuse people want to give themselves. But what I found with you and other people who are young and athletic and successful in what you do is that you don't go in with that mindset of I'm not as good as them. You go in with I believe in my abilities, and I believe that if I play my best, I can compete against anyone. And that mentality, I think, needs to be conveyed to people that are listening when they need to go getting the win. If you do, you are beat before you ever hit a.
Yeah, you were kind of going in and out of there a little bit for me, Scott, but I think I know the gist of what you said.
Can you hear me?
But yeah, I think yes, but it was just kind of going in and out. But that mentality is everything. If you go out believing that you've lost or that you're gonna lose, I think you've kind of sealed your own fate. If I was about to play against Serena Williams, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lie to myself. Maybe Serena Williams has her worst day, I have my best day. It doesn't matter. But just want to go out there and do like your very best and be excited at the opportunity. Like I'm always excited to play a match. I've said this to many people, like what else would I want to do on a weekend than be out playing pickleball matches? And I get so excited because I know that in a winner's bracket, every single match I win, I've guaranteed myself 2 more matches to play, which is like something exciting to me. It's like if I win, I get to play more. So I just think I don't really know how to curate that kind of a mentality, but I think it's really important the way you talk to yourself and your self-talk on the court and just the way you think about yourself. You should believe in yourself, believe you can do well, and if you're struggling, like know that you can get out of it. Know that you can, because nothing can last forever. I suppose me and Georgia did manage to play lights out for 5 straight games, but it's like eventually somebody is going to crack. Eventually, no one can play at the top of their game, for forever. Nobody will play their worst for forever eventually, especially pickleball is such a momentum game. If you just get hot, anything can happen.
Bring it to the pinnacle of Saturday night. You play up against one of the most decorated female players in our sport, Simone Jardim. You guys did not look intimidated. You actually looked to be in complete control. And matter of fact, I hope you can hear me right now. You guys, did I understand this correctly? You got a golden pickle in the very first game. Did you guys win 11-0 off the serve?
We did, off of my serve too. And my serve, Georgia's the one whose serve is difficult, who's got she flicks the ball and hits it so hard. But yeah, that was on my serve. We did. I don't know how we pulled that off, but we did do that.
So if I was going to be shocked about anything, I wasn't shocked that you guys won the gold. I was more shocked about the golden pickle that you got. Did things just fall into place that first game? Were they just off? Were you guys just on fire? Talk through that. That's a rare. Let me tell everybody watching. Not only is a golden pickle rare in a rec game, but to do it at the pro level against one of the most decorated females in the sport. Or going into that match.
Going in that again, so going into that match, I watched the match back, and I definitely think we were getting all the luck.
Can you hear
with
me?
Net cords. Now I can. It's just when you talk a lot, you go. Now I can, yeah. But we got all the luck with the net cords. I think in the first game to 11, we got 2 or something. So that is definitely luck. Was just everything was just on our side. But I think that they came in. I think that they didn't respect us, and I don't mean that they didn't respect our game stuff. I felt like they came in thinking that they were going to win. It definitely was my impression of them, and that just made me hungrier. I was like, no, especially not easily. And I think that, they came in wanting to really speed the ball up at us. They were really I was honestly very surprised at how much, Corinne was because me and Corinne were up the line and she was speeding the ball up at me. And I was like, thank you, because anybody who's played rec with me knows that I like it when the ball's fast. So I was surprised about that, and they didn't really make the adjustment, especially not in the first game to 11. So we just kind of took their pace and said thank you. And they had been cold. We had played like 3 straight matches, and they hadn't played in a long time. So being cold is always tough to deal with. So they were cold. We were so hot, like just in how we were playing and how we had played 3 straight matches all on center court. So we were really warm. Our hands were so on. We were just firing away, and they were also giving us the pace that we wanted. And luck was on our side as well with the net cords, and we were with the wind as well. I still haven't figured out what side is better with wind and pickleball, but I guess that would have added just a bit more pace to our shots. So, yeah, and they didn't take a timeout, which I'm not sure why they didn't do that. Because I think that wouldn't have been a bad idea, just to kind of stop the momentum or to give us a chance to cool down. But for whatever reason, they didn't, and so we were like, okay, and we just kept rolling.
So then you go into game 2 and you won 11-3, I believe was the score. So how did you, usually it switches, the momentum switches it from game 1 to game 2. A team like that's going to rebound, but you guys just stayed on the throttle.
Yeah, we stayed on the throttle. We
You can't hear me,
continued to get
can you?
lucky with.
Can you hear me?
I can. I can. We continued to play well. I think we were both so focused. Oh, I forgot to say this, but in the bronze medal match, I was so focused. I did not know that J Dub and Dylan Frazier and JW and Australia were playing beside us. I had no idea that there was a men's match going on beside us. I only found that out when I was rewatching back the stream, and I was like, "Oh, what? There was a match beside us?" I had no idea even. I was so focused. I was so intense. And so when I'm at that level of intensity, Brandon, that was funny. Sorry, Brandon said something really funny. Um, I was so focused that, changing ends, it's not like I was rattled or anything by having to not play for a minute. I was like, "All right, let's get some water. I'm ready to go again. Put me in, coach. Like, let's go." And we kept playing the same way. We didn't change anything. We just kept, mostly dinking, um, to Corinne when we could. And then we were so ready for them to speed the ball up because they kept speeding the ball up. And I was just going to keep ripping backhands whenever I had one I felt I could do something with. Um, so they did get a few points on
Did
us there.
you
We were bound to make some mistakes.
did you did you guys feel like you had the upper hand by speeding the ball up or countering their speed ups? Did you feel like you guys were stronger in that department?
Yes, at least on this day. I firmly think that there's no girl who hits harder than Georgia. 100%. Is how I feel. I've yet to play a lot of women, but one reason I have added so much lead tape to my paddle is because I'm always just talking to my family. I'm just like, I have to hit as hard as Georgia. Like, I don't know how. I have to hit harder because Georgia hits so hard and I cannot handle it. Um, so I think Georgia hits so hard, and I hit pretty hard, and our hands were really fast too. So, playing against a team that both has like, if their hands are faster than you on that day and they're hitting the ball harder, you're just in a really tough spot. Even just if a team is hitting harder than you, if that can negate a quicker if your hands are a little faster. But I felt like that day we kind of had both on our side. I felt like our hands were a little bit faster and we were putting more on the ball. And so I think that's why we were winning most of the exchanges once the ball was sped up.
I love it. So you win that 2 out of 3, and you go into the game to 15. And this is where, in my mind, like, no offense, but I was like, all right, they're playing Simone. She's a closer. She's got this game to 15 in her back pocket. Likely they won't be able to stay on fire. And then you dominantly win that gold medal match, not a close one even.
Yeah, I think if there was a time for us to cool off, it would have been this break. Um, It was so funny. So we win the 2 out of 3 to 11, and Georgia just gets so up. She's like, jump. She's like, yes. And I could tell immediately that that she forgot there was a game to 15. So I had to burst her bubble. I was like, we haven't won yet, Georgia. We have to win. We have to win one more. So that was really cute and that was funny. And then in the break to 15, like I didn't want to leave the court. Simone and Corinne like left the court, which was smart on their part, but I wanted to stay. Like I was like, I am so locked in right now. I'm not trying to leave this place. And it was so funny. Our Gabe came over and was talking to us about money, and I walked away and I told George, I was like, we are not thinking about that. And Gabe was like, you have to think about it. I was like, we're not thinking about that because I'm here to win. Like I have a job, it's nice the money, but I just wanted to win, and so I was like not gonna think about anything that was going to rattle my headspace. And I pulled George away too. I was like, I was like, Gabe, you can talk to the hand. We're not talking about that right now. So just, we just managed to stay like so focused. And even I think before the game to 15, we were warming up again and the ref like wanted us to start, he's like, okay, let's start. And I was like, wait, can we have like 30 more seconds? Like I wanted to do another two like hands battles. Like I wanted it so bad that I was like, wait, give me a little more time. I know if I'm playing lights out for 4 straight games, but my hands don't feel quite right. Let me do 2 more. And so that's just kind of the mentality and the level of intensity that we were at. Like there wasn't going to be a let up on our side unless, they were going to have to change something or play better or, just force us to do something different. But me and Georgia we wanted it so bad and we weren't going to take our foot off the gas there.
I love it. When I was watching that game to 15, I know a lot of us back home, in your local group, we were pulling for you guys, we were supporting you guys, but they looked visibly frustrated. They looked like they couldn't do anything against you guys, and that's so rare to see a performer like Simone Georgine look that visibly frustrated. From my vantage point, I think you have a really, really aggressive backhand roll. And I think that backhand roll was setting up a lot of the putaways and the finishes because you were putting so much pressure rolling that ball that they were popping them up a little bit. And then you were just hammering the next ball after the next ball. And they were either popping them up and you would finish, or they would literally make an unforced error. I felt like that happened over and over and over until they felt defeated, honestly. That's what I took away from it.
Yeah, I was definitely painting some lines with my backhand, that day, and I was hitting it really well cross court, like I dink with topspin, not too many people do that, do a topspin dink, but, that's what comes naturally to me, and it definitely opens up the court a lot because it's just a little more penetrating than a slice, so when I'm going cross court with that, then on the next ball, the middle is a little more open, and if someone shifts to cover the middle, then I have the option of the line, so when I'm playing that well and, dinking that well with my backhand, it does give us a lot of options and opens up the court a lot. I definitely think though that if I were them, I would have probably not been giving myself as many backhands. I probably would have been trying to, dink more to my forehand or, more over to Georgia. But they were giving me backhands, so I was gonna hit backhands.
You're not going to turn those down, are you?
No, no, no. No way.
I love it.
There's one thing I have in
Describe.
pickleball, it's a two-handed backhand.
Oh, it's nasty. It's nasty. I've faced it. It is a very very aggressive backhand. Um, Talk about that feeling in the moment where you guys hit 15, the point number 15, and you were able to kind of take a big deep breath. What was the realization in that moment that you just won a women's pro gold with a 15-year-old?
I don't even really remember it, to be honest. We were really just in a state of shock for a decent amount of time. Yeah, I don't even fully remember the moment. I don't remember what happened. I don't think we hit a winner. I think it was more of a mistake on their side, and um, it was just so surreal. It was so surreal for the rest of the night. Like I won, we won, and then I went back to my hotel, and I just like laid on the bed for like 20 minutes, just like doing nothing, just like My phone was blowing up. I had no idea what was going on, and then I watched back all the matches, and, and then I lost track of time, and initially, we were all gonna go out to eat, but then J-Dub's match went a little bit longer, and they just decided they were gonna eat, they weren't gonna eat out because they were all tired, and so I just had, like, oatmeal in my hotel for dinner that night. I was just really in a state of shock. I couldn't believe what happened. Um, it still doesn't feel real. I mean, of course it does feel real, but it's like, did that really happen? Is my life really, because I've never my Google Calendar has always been exclusively for my work things, but now I'm like, I had this in my Google Calendar. I've got like all these other talks, like my calendar is blowing up. And it's just like, this cannot be real life. This is not me. Like all I do is work and play pickleball. And now I've got like all this other stuff I feel like I'm juggling and having to think about and reevaluate. So it's really been a quick change in my life, and it all just from that moment, all just from, just winning that game to 15.
I love it. And I was the first to get you on for an interview. So I'm very proud of that, very excited for that. And I know the people watching are excited to hear from you. So you win the Women's Pro Gold Saturday night, and then the reality must hit you that, oh, tomorrow now I've got to play singles. Typically, if somebody has like a really big high the night before, like they've won a gold, they have a little bit of a letdown on Sunday when they play singles. That was not the case for you. You came out just absolutely on fire in singles. Did you use the momentum and the confidence from the Women's Pro Gold win to carry over into singles, or what was the mentality?
I absolutely used the momentum. I slept horribly the night, Saturday night. Like I could not sleep. I was awake at 2 a.m. I woke up so early. I just had so much like adrenaline. I was thinking about so much stuff. I slept so poorly. And then the next morning, when you don't sleep, but you can just like feel it in the back of your head. You just feel like off. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play so bad. I was pretty nervous about it. But going into the weekend, like I wasn't really expecting to medal in mix. I just wanted to have a good run, pick up some good wins. I thought Georgia and I could medal, but I honestly felt like I should win singles is how I felt coming into the week and stuff. So singles was what I was really, really excited about. So I was so hungry, and it's so strange, coming into an event where the singles event where nobody really knows your name except like Georgia and Millie, but I personally felt like I should win just because of my tennis background and the level I had been playing at in practice, even though a lot of people hadn't seen me play singles, just so I was really hungry, and I felt like it was my tournament to lose is how I felt. So I just came in, and I was so nervous in my first warm up with Corinne. I told her, I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't even know how to warm up in singles, what the culture of it is. So the ref called 1 minute and I went into volley, and she was like, oh, do you want to take serves? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, I forgot that, you have like people take serves and singles. So I had ruined it for us. We didn't have much time to take serves, so it was a very like a bit of a klutzy, awkward, like initial warm up and stuff. But I was just, I've just played so much tennis and stuff that the singles game does come pretty easily for me. I know that there's so much I have to work on to really compete, with the best women on the singles court, but I'm really excited to work towards getting there and to play more and to kind of just continue to absorb things by osmosis and to get better.
Definitely. I actually have a funny story. I saw Brian Levine yesterday, which was the day after you won the gold, and he said he ran into you on Sunday morning, and you told him, "I'm not losing a damn game today." And I thought that was very telling. Like, you go in with that confidence that you expect to win, you expect to do well, and I keep like talking about that, but I think it's important for people watching that do compete at tournaments. You cannot go into the day already failing in your mind. You have to go in with the expectations of winning, and that you deserve that. You believe that you're going to do well. So I want to like bring that to light, because it's not an accident that you're having success. It's no accident. You believe deep down when nobody else does, or that when before anybody knew who Anna Bright was, you expected to win singles that day. And then it manifested physically, and everybody's like, oh my God, who is Anna Bright? This girl came out of nowhere. But really, that's not the truth. The truth is you've put years of hard work in on training in tennis. You've been working hard in pickleball, and now the fruits of that are starting to show. But nobody cared who you were you know, before you won the gold, right? Now you're going to get a bunch of, you know, accolades and whatever, but you know that it's from all the time on the court and all the dedication that you've put in. So I think that's really important to spotlight.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. And it's a fine balance, because it's like I said, I didn't go into mix expecting to win, but I had an expectation of how well we could do and I wanted to do really well. So I don't really know how to explain my mentality, but yeah, I just think it's really important to be positive about how well you think you're going to do, but also realistic. Of course, you don't want to be like in my first tournament, I never if my first tournament ever was this event, I would have never ever thought like, "Oh, I'm gonna like I can win singles." No, but I knew the level I'd been practicing at, and I knew what I expected of myself. And if I had lost, but I had played my best, if I had played, and had a good attitude, like I would have been fine. I don't take losses poorly. I take losses well if I'm happy with my play and my attitude. But I just going into that, I felt like if I played at my best, like I felt like I should be able to come away with the title.
Very cool. I know these are two questions that everybody wants to know. First question is, between the two gold medals, how much did you bring home cash wise? And then do you have any plans to spend it on something? Do you want to save it? Like, what are you going to do with that? I mean, is that what's the plan there?
I don't really know that I should talk about how much money I made. I haven't really thought about whether I would talk about that, but I'll
I
say
don't
it was
think
a,
that's
it
a.
was,
I
it
don't
was,
think it's a private thing. I think that I think the PPA and the APP put it out there. So
oh,
that's
they
up to you.
do?
You don't have to answer it. But I
I
don't think
still
it's
don't,
like
I
a.
still don't, I still don't want to personally. I don't want people
Yeah,
I
no,
know to
that's no
know,
problem. I mean,
but,
that's up to you to decide if you want to answer that question or not. But then, what are your plans with the money?
I am okay. So, not even gonna lie, ever since I started working in January, I have been thinking a lot about retiring. So, I am, I'm pretty frugal, I guess. So, I don't know. I put like 20 to 25% of into an account to save for taxes, and then use the rest. My credit card bill's been really high just from paying a ridiculous amount of pickleball entry fees, because to play Punta Gorda, the entry fees alone were like $400, and then the hotel, and then just everything else. So just kind of, making sure I'm still like all my pickleball for the next few tournaments. I kind of use it to pay for that. And then I am obsessed with this one clothing brand. Uh, I don't know. It's the shirt I'm wearing now. So I wear the same shirt. I have the same shirt in 8 colors. So you guys saw 3 colors this weekend. I wore a white one, the teal one, and my pink one. I might have to add more to my collection. I have 8. Might have to try to, get a few more of those. I like a lot of
Get
their
to
other stuff.
12.
Yeah, no, no, no. This is a serious thought I've been having. Me and my best friend talk about this a lot. So I'm also might try to get sponsored by them. I might just send, it's hard though, because it's not like it's a small company. It's called Outdoor Voices. So I might try to, I've been on LinkedIn this morning, like trying to see who I can reach out to. Just be like, yo, I want a lot of stuff.
Yo,
But it's tough because
talk
I'm
to
wearing
me.
these and I feel like I hate seeing that they show sweat so much, because I'm washing it. I'm just like so sweaty and everything, but they're so comfortable. I feel comfortable in them. I like the way they look. So I'll definitely be making an Outdoor Voices purchase if I can't get them to get me free stuff. But I've got clothing companies reaching out to me too.
That's
So
awesome.
there's a lot to think about. But yeah, I'll spend some there, do some other things. But I'm I'm not the most exciting with money, I'm afraid. Maybe a new phone soon, but
That's
I
all
don't
good.
really know.
I love it. No, I mean, there's no right or wrong with that. It's just a question that I know people would be wondering. Also, people probably wondering, maybe somebody doesn't know you that well or hasn't seen you play much. What paddle do you use currently? What do you play with?
I currently play with the Electra Model E.
Electra Model E. Um, do you think after winning at this level, do you think you're going to get some opportunities to take on some sponsorship? Is that the goal of yours, or do you not care if you get sponsored or if you are sponsored? Or
Um, like I said, I have a job. I don't really need money, so I think that puts me in a position where I can be choosy. I can be very choosy about things, but I do have some calls lined up with different paddle companies because I have to use a paddle. So I might as well, I will only use one I really like, but I've got some talks lined up and we'll just kind of see how that ends up going. And about other companies, we'll just, I don't know. I'm open to hearing about anything. Um, anything that people would be interested in sponsoring me for, I will talk to them. But I'm in a position where I don't need it. Like I'll only agree to be sponsored if I like the product and what they're offering me. And yeah, so I'm in an interesting spot with that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good place to be for sure. What's your next tournament?
My next tournament is Plantation
Which is
this
this
Friday.
upcoming weekend? Is that this Friday?
Yeah, man, I feel like I was so excited to play 4 straight weekends of pickleball tournaments, but now now I'm, like, sore. I'm like, "Shoot, I'm gonna be dead." And some people have asked me to play in the APP in Mesa, which is the weekend after, and I'm just like, "I don't think that's gonna happen. That's 5 straight weeks." I think that would actually be too much, but yeah, that is my next event is Plantation. Then I have the PPA, the Port St. Lucie, the one hosted by Simone, and then after that is the Delray, Tier 1 APP. Very lucky to have 4 straight tournaments in Florida, very thankful for that.
Are are the expectations possibly going to get to you? I mean, people are going to expect you to do well now. Do you let that bother you? Do you think about that, or do you just go into every tournament with a blank slate and say, "Hey, let the chips fall where they may"?
I definitely do want to, not do horribly after such a breakout performance. That wouldn't look good, and I wouldn't be happy with that either. But, like I said, I graduated high school the number 2 recruit in the country. I'm used to coming into tournaments, like, being expected to do well. I haven't been the underdog, that much in my tennis career, so I'm used to the pressure of having expectations, both for myself and externally, so I don't really anticipate I will, like, play worse because of it or anything. I think if I have a bad day, it'll just be I had a bad day. I don't think the mental aspect of, being expected to do well will really rattle me much. I still expect to do really well in singles, and about doubles and mixed, it all just kinda depends on the day, how well you're playing, how well your partner's playing, so but I'm really excited for the next few events. I'm really excited to play in the PPA and to see how I stack up, especially in the singles there because, there you have some of the top women, and I'd just be really, really curious. I expect to get my butt whooped, but I think it'll be a great, learning experience, and that I hope to, give some people good matches and just to kinda show what I'm capable of, and then I'll just continue to refine that over the next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a great attitude. I think that's the attitude that you should go in with that. And also, somebody on a side note, somebody asked the question. It says, I see she's pairing with Tyler Loong coming up in the PPA tournament. That's something I did not know. That's pretty fantastic. Tyler Loong is a phenomenal player out of Utah, one of the best earning machines in the game, a lefty. How did that transpire? Do you know Tyler Loong, or did that just kind of happened organically? What's the deal there?
Me and Tyler go way back. Just kidding, I don't know him. But, as soon as, we won the doubles, I had a Facebook message from him, like, immediately after, and I got to it that night, and he asked me to play, and, I was not planning on playing mixed in that tournament because I was gonna play Thursday and Saturday, which is pro singles and pro doubles, but I wasn't gonna play Friday just because I was like, "I can't take so many days off of work. Like, I'm not gonna play mixed." But then he asked me and I thought about it and I was like, with the new changes in my life, I was like, "I will make it happen. I'll make it happen. Like, it has to happen." Such a good player asking me, someone who's left-handed, so then I can play on the left and be hitting backhands. It just sounded like and, I watched some of him playing. I think his style is really exciting and dynamic, and that I like that. So I'm really excited to see how we do. I don't expect to do like amazingly well or anything, but I hope to play well. I'm definitely nervous about having to like dink cross court with a man because I know I'm not the best dinker. That's a big area of my game that I do need to improve. And in mixed, I think right now I'm a far better women's player than mixed player, just because in women's, it's okay to rip more, but in mixed, your job is more so, to be really steady and to set up your male partner, which is just, the way the game is played. It's not like a good or a bad thing. It's just kind of the way it is. So I know that mixed is somewhere that I'm excited to keep improving. And I'm really excited for the tournament. I think we could do really well. I'm also excited to meet him. Hopefully we can practice a little bit before we go out there, because I imagine that because of my rating, we won't have a very good draw. But I'm
Yeah,
really excited for it.
very cool. As your unsolicited new pickleball manager, I think you made the right decision in teaming up with Tyler. I'm just kidding. I'm not her manager. That's a joke. All right, here you go. Next question. Talk about the importance of footwork. How do you train that part of your body? So talk about footwork and the importance of that.
Footwork is so important. I do not train footwork for pickleball though. All of my footwork is just what I have from tennis and stuff. But there are a lot of things you could do to get better. There are a lot of drills you can do. It's a lot about being quick. But there are also I don't have any specific things to talk about, but there are a lot of videos you could find on YouTube about, the general like patterns, when to take a crossover step, when to shuffle, just how to transfer your weight through the ball. So I would definitely look up some things on YouTube for tennis footwork if you are struggling with that. And yeah, footwork is everything. Like for me, when I think my opponent may be about to, hit a ball really hard at me at the kitchen, I kind of start like bouncing a little bit, so I'm really ready so that I'm like ready to be quick. That's really important. Yeah, so footwork is everything, I think, in a game like in singles, of course, if you're not covering the court well, you're not going to do well. But footwork at the kitchen line is so important. That's something I'm just going to keep getting better at. But you have to be able to move and shift back and forth. So that lateral movement is so important. I think that's something that's really unique to a sport like tennis and pickleball. That's a huge area where the translation is really, really helpful, as I haven't really had to think about my footwork on a pickleball court. But footwork is everything. I would recommend, there are a lot of drills you can do to get quicker that you can time yourself. And I would, if you're struggling, if you just feel like out of place when you're hitting ground strokes, I would look up tennis footwork videos on YouTube, because there are a lot of those that teach like the correct patterns of footwork.
Very cool. This question has multiple parts, but you can ignore the first part because you've already covered your tennis journey. So if anybody didn't hear that part after the interview's over, you can go back and listen to that in the beginning. But it says, what does she do for a full-time job, and what did she study in college?
So I'll start with what I studied in college. I went to school at the University of California, Berkeley, and I was a double major in data science and business administration. So I set myself up well to work in tech. Um, Not because I was super passionate about it, but because it seems pretty pragmatic. So now I work as a project manager at a small fintech company, which is a finance tech company, and I work remotely, which is why I'm in Florida and my company is in Boston. So that is what I do.
Very cool. Doesn't sound nearly as exciting as beating the number one female player in the world in pickleball, but everybody's got their thing. I love it.
It's not even close to as exciting, but I'm really
Not the
lucky that
adrenaline
they're
rush.
no, but they're pretty flexible with me. And I actually have like a presentation I'm meant to give this afternoon because
I
I have
love
to
it.
work on it after this interview. But I like having some more mundane, normal things in my life. Like I said, I feel like if everything was pickleball, I would get a little burnt out, because that kind of happened to me with tennis when I was like, it's strange to say you were burnt out when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, but I was. And that was a time when I was homeschooled and all I did was play tennis. So I know that I don't want that for myself with pickleball.
Definitely. This is not really a question, but I got to give Brandon Hupschman, our local hero, a shout out. What is this? Anna couldn't even golden pickle Terminator Terry. Who's Terminator Terry?
So me and Brandon played together in the mixed age at the Boca APP, which was a super last minute thing for me. But our first round, we were playing against this. They were like almost late to the court, and the first person who shows up is this woman. It's mixed age, right? This woman has got to be like at least 60 years old, right? And so I just like start laughing, and then her partner shows up, and her partner's like a man who's like our age, like my age. And this woman was just an absolute riot. Immediately she introduced herself as Terminator Terry. She was making some sexual references on the court, and she probably did not belong in the mixed age. She probably would have diced up like 60 plus 3-0. But we were just goofing around, and she was so funny, and I was playing lefty. I got called on a service fault because I served left-handed,
Oh
and
wow.
I didn't know, and I just was gonna do a drop serve, right? And I tossed the ball up before it went down
Yeah,
and I
you
hit
can't
it.
toss it up.
I didn't know that, so I got called on a service fault against her. We did win 11-0, 11-0, but it was not a golden pickle. It was not a golden pickle.
I
So
love it. I
this
love
one,
it.
Terry was just too much. She was just too funny. I've never laughed more on a pickleball court. That was
Terminator
something else.
Terry is bringing the heat.
Terminator Terry brought the heat, and that woman was something else. I wanna be like her when I grow up for sure.
I love it. This next one, I feel like he should be working and not on YouTube watching this interview. I don't know. I've never heard of this guy, Jimmy Gill. He's a lefty, apparently, wants to play with you. No, I'm just kidding. We all know Jimmy really well. Sounds desperate though, Jimmy. Sounds desperate. We love Jimmy. Everybody down here loves Jimmy Gill. He is a fantastic player. Obviously, none of us are going to get to team up with Anna from now on. She's going to be getting partners like Tyler Loong and Callan Dawson and all these other people. But you know what? You know what is funny? Women in pro pickleball, they get better partners so much faster because there's so few of you guys that are at the high level. That you guys just rise right to the top. I mean, look at Jimmy Gill, for example. He's been trying to get strong partners for the time he's been there, and we're still struggling. But no, I mean, that's a really fun thing for us to get to watch you rise to the top. And I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to take it off the solo real quick. I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to be here for a long time if you want to. Please don't get burned out, because we want to see more of Anna Bright on the court, tearing up the pros. And, you know, look, somebody made a comment. I don't like bringing up negative stuff, but somebody brought up a comment when I posted about you and Georgia winning. And this guy was like, oh, that's cool, but, like, do it at the PPA. And I'm thinking, like, in my head, I wanted to blast this guy, but it's whatever. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. But, like, you've only been playing for 4 months. Like, let's give credit where credit's due. Did you have the toughest field in APP this weekend in Punta Gorda? No, like, I don't think you would even say that was the strongest bracket that you could face. But you have to start somewhere, right? So I figure, hey, why not beat the number one female player in the world and then go from there, right? I mean, come on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, I mean, a comment like that is absolutely, like, fair. I mean, it's not like I broke through and, won it in Minnesota this weekend, but that's one reason I'm glad that, the APPs exist, because that wouldn't have been possible for me at a PPA event. It just simply wouldn't, it's just not possible. But I still was able to play against some really, really solid competition, I think there's 3 like Major League Pickleball draftees and Simone Jardim, might have been more 3, and like, I don't think it's fair to say that we didn't play really well and beat some really good competition. So,
oh my gosh, yeah,
like, it's absolutely not fair to say that. So yeah, we didn't do it at a PPA. You're right, dog. You're right. We didn't do it at a PPA, and I'm not saying that it would have happened at a PPA at all. I don't think it would have. I do think George and I could have definitely, maybe won a match or two, but just, but I'm so proud of the performance for sure, and the fact that it didn't happen at a PPA, I don't think it takes away from that. It's a fact. But it's not something to be like positive or negative about. It's just a fact.
It's just what it is. Yeah. And for anybody that doesn't know what it's like to compete at the pro level, I don't care if you're playing Simone or somebody that you've never heard of. Pro level matches are difficult. They're hard. They're not easy to get through the bracket. And for somebody like Anna Bright, who's only been playing 4 months, to team up with Georgia Johnson, who's 15 and they've never played together before, it's an extremely amazing accomplishment. I mean, look, I've been playing for 5 years. I've yet to even sniff a pro podium. So, and I consider myself a pretty good player. So for you guys to do that, it's incredible. It's incredible, and does not need to be overshadowed by, oh, well, you didn't do it at the PPA. Like, look, you're going to get your day in the light of the PPA tournaments, and you'll see how you match up or whatever. But like, please don't, guys, when you understand what she did, like, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. All right, Brian Levine. Oh, gotta throw Brian up there. Brian said, "What is a fudge nugget? Fudge nugget.
Fudge nugget.
Fudge nugget. And can I buy one at Hoffman's?" So please explain this.
Oh man, I thought anybody who plays rec with me knows I say fudge nuggets a lot. I don't know why. It's just an alternative to an F-bomb that I think is really funny. I don't know when I started saying it. I started saying it in college tennis. It just flows off the tongue, What the fudge nuggets is that? You miss a ball, you just go fudge nuggets. It just flows off the tongue, and you guys are going to be hearing me say it more.
If you miss a dink, you'll say fudge nuggets?
I'm going to say it whenever it feels right. When it's the first thing that comes to my head, I'm going to say it. When I screamed it in in the bronze medal match, it was so funny because the commentators are talking, and then I just go, Anna Bright, what the fudge nuggets is that? Like right by the microphone, and then it's just crickets. Nobody says anything after I said that, which I thought was so funny to watch back. But yeah, I don't know what a fudge nugget is. I don't think anybody knows. But it's a good alternative to an F-bomb that is a lot funnier and a lot cuter sounding and makes you quirky.
I love it.
That's
And my follow-up question is like, what the heck is Hoffman's? I've never even heard of Hoffman's.
I don't know what that is either, I'm afraid.
I'm guessing that's a grocery store. I don't know.
It probably is. And
leave it up to Brian Levine to bring up Hoffman's. Couldn't he have just said Publix that everybody knows? Like, can you get one at Publix?
Come on, Brian. Come on.
I love it. Well, listen, Anna, my goal for you was for people watching to get to know you. I think we accomplished that. It was to break down the matches this weekend, which I think we also accomplished that. And also for people to kind of get to see your personality and kind of how your brain works. You're very intelligent. You're very smart. And I think you were blessed with the athletic prowess to do very well in whatever you choose to do in sports. We're just glad that you're picking pickleball to do that. Also, I tried to keep it to an hour. We're at an hour and 6 minutes. So I think we did pretty good.
Did great. Thank you so much, Scott. And yeah, I'm very lucky, very blessed. I know that people have told me like I really deserve this. I'm like, I don't know if I deserve it, but I got it. Like it's kind of how I feel. But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much to everybody who's been watching me and rooting for me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. You guys are the best. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is Anna Bright on the Golden Boy Pickleball Show. And guys, keep up with her journey. Go ahead and follow her on social media. She's going to be a name that you're going to remember. It's a hard name to forget, too. Anna Bright's pretty easy to remember. So you guys take care. Have a great day. And Anna, go study for that, whatever you said you have to do later for work.
Yeah, I got to do that.
All right. Have a great day.